great old blues tune by Blind Boy Fuller called Pistol Slapper Blues. Now, before I get started, I suppose I should say something about the lyrical content, which we're not looking at specifically today. We're just going to look at the guitar. However, I did do a little bit of research about it because, like a lot of old blues tunes, some of the lyrics can seem quite shocking from a modern perspective. This being one example of that. It appears that this was recorded in early 1938, and later on in 1938, Blind Boy Fuller was actually imprisoned for having shot his wife in the leg. So I don't think that the threat contained within the song is necessarily jerky, which is fairly horrifying. Anyway, because of his imprisonment, he didn't get the opportunity to play at the Spirituals to Swing concert that was held in New York of that year, and his place was taken by Sonny Terry, who went on to have a very long and successful career, whereas Blind Boy Fuller died 3 years later. So I suppose we could say that Blind Boy Fuller, by shooting his wife in the leg, managed to shoot his own career in the foot. Anyway, on to the music. So I'm going to start with my second finger at 3rd fret of the G, my 3rd finger at 4th fret of the D. I'm going to pinch that diad and then move it up 1 fret into this G chord. And then we're going to do a little roll, and I'm going to put my first finger on the top 2 strings, barred, B and E strings both at 3rd fret, and I'm going to do a little roll, by which I'm going to pluck the top E with my 2nd finger in my right hand, and then the B string with my 1st finger, and then the G string with my thumb. To practice that little move just until it becomes nice and familiar, because it is used extensively throughout the whole song. Sometimes he starts it with a pinch, so he'll pinch thumb and 2nd finger and then just do the roll. Sometimes the roll is on its own. So as you listen to the song, sometimes you will notice that he's done a pinch, sometimes you'll notice he hasn't. There's a lot of variation there, so I'm not going to be absolutely specific on that, but give a general idea of what he does. So what we got so far is, yeah. Then we're going to lead into a D dominant 7 chord. So we're going to go 4, 5 on the A string. I'm leading into my 3rd finger, and that's going to be important because the 3rd finger is in the bass of this chord. You should be familiar with this chord shape. It's like a C dominant 7 with the pinky on the 3rd fret of the G string, and I'm just moving that chord up 2 frets. And here we're going to pinch D to B string with the thumb and 2nd finger, and then do the rest of the roll, G and D string with the 1st finger and thumb respectively. There we go. So, what we got so far. Then we're going to go back to our original G chord. Then we're going to lead into a C dominant 7 chord. Here, sometimes Blind Boy Fuller picks it in the same way he picked the D7 chord. Here, it's just strung very loosely, down, up, down. Sometimes he does one, sometimes he does the other. When he's singing, he tends to simplify the whole arrangement and strum more chords rather than picking them. So, putting everything together that we've got so far, here we go. Then we're leading back into the G chord. We've got a slightly different rhythm here. And then the 1st finger is going to come off its bar and just hold down the B string, leaving the top E open, which is going to be picked with the 2nd finger, and then the 1st finger picks the B. So putting all of that together. then we're going to move back into a D dominant 7 chord. So here we've just walked into our D chord once more. Then we've got a pinch to the first finger, so thumb and second finger picking the D and B strings, and then the G string picked by the first finger, and then we're just going to pick the open E with the second finger, and then the B with the first finger. So all together. And then coming down to the G string with the thumb, and then 3rd fret of the top E picked with the second finger. Probably the most challenging bar in this main riff. So let's just walk through that very slowly. And then grabbing the G in the bass with the thumb, and we've got a turnaround lick. So our 3rd finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the top E, second finger 3rd fret of the D string, and I'm just picking those two as a pinch, coming down, still 3rd fret on the top E but 2nd fret of the D, still top E 3rd fret but open D, still top E 3rd fret, 3rd, 2nd on the A string, and then a G on the bottom E, 3rd fret all on its own with the second finger. So putting all of that together. And then we've got a little roll just on our open G chord here, just to finish everything off. So that whole verse. The verse for Pistol Slapper Blues by Blind Boy Fuller. Now we'll take a very short look at the solo. There is a bridge to this song which you can probably figure out entirely by yourself. If you can, it's 3 bars of G to 1 bar of G7 to C dominant 7 going up to D dominant 7 into the turnaround that we've already looked at. There's a walk up to a D, he just rolls on the D for a while. And then back into another turnaround. At the end of that bridge, which there isn't a huge amount of guitar playing in there, it's mainly about the vocal, but at the end of that bridge he runs into the solo, which we are going to take a very quick look at. I'm not the best at playing this solo, but we'll look at what he does. So he goes 4, 5 on the D string with the first finger, and then we're forming a D bar chord, which isn't all that common. You see, I'm barring with my 3rd finger across the G, B and E strings at 7th fret, and then my pinky is holding down 8th fret on the B. It's a D-shaped bar chord. Sometimes you see it fretted like that, with the first finger 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Anyway. And then we've got 2 rolls, so we do our 2 bass notes, and it is swung in the right hand there, which is really nice. Moving up to this chord here, which is a D chord, so that's first finger barred across 7th fret, and then pinky at 10th fret, giving us a D major chord. So I've got my bass note, and then I'm pinching with the G and top E strings, an extra top E, bass note, and then pinching G to this 8th fret on the top A. What we got so far is this. Then back into our chord. Now we've got 2 rolls there, but we're starting with the pinch, which just changes the rhythm slightly to what we did first time round. Then we walk into the C chord, strum it, and then we're just back round into a turnaround. So that whole solo. It's just finished off with material that we've already looked at from the verse. So you should be able to figure out the solo with those 2 extra chord positions. Anyway, that's Blind Boy Fuller's Pistol Slapper Blues. All right, cheers.